All right, welcome back to round number 2 of 4 here at Modern Mondays in Portland, Oregon at Guardian Games. We're Portland Paper. I'm Travis Cooper hanging out with,
Urchin Collie. Could not be happier to be anywhere else on a Monday.
and we got a matchup for you here.
So, this round, round two, we are going to see Nick Sherrod playing Infect facing off against one of our favorite local players, Miles, failing on Green White Eldrazi. Miles has been on this deck since ever I have known him.
Yeah, I feel like I've probably known Miles for 3 or 4 years at this point, and it's morphed from like mono white death and taxes into this like Eldrazi list, but there's a fair core of cards that are the same.
He's a Thalia player. He's complete dark side to me.
Uh,
Oh, no need to make fun of Miles' name just because he was born failing.
well, it can only go up from there then,
He
right?
can only go
Yeah.
up from there.
So this matchup, I think, is going to come down to if Nick is able to have a Blighted Agent or an Inkmoth Nexus as a primary threat. Hopefully the Blighted Agent, and then if Miles is going to have a turn 1 accelerant like a Noble Hierarch and do something like an Eldrazi Displacer.
Those will all be good. Miles is packing, I believe, plenty of Path to Exile, so if he has one available, that could be a huge problem. Nick Sherrod here. Oh, gonna play a Distortion Strike, or gonna reveal a Distortion Strike, except not. We're gonna go ahead and grab a Blighted Agent off of a Once Upon a Time, play Wooded Foothills, and pass it back. Vile Flicker Wish, you and my spouse are cut from the same cloth, and it is not a cloth that I am a fan of.
Yeah, I've actually played a lot of Taxes list in Modern. I used to play it back in the Treasure Cruise days, and I like this style of play, but Modern's just like too powerful now, I think, for like fair bear decks to be good across the board. Occasionally, I mean, having the Accelerant and the Eldrazi package, I think, really helps out. But then you're kind of gone away from the taxes
Yeah, I
plan.
I think the issue is it's not that you can't play fair Magic in Modern, it's that these small edges aren't good enough right now. Everything is mid-range but bigger. There's plenty of big mana around. And I don't know how you feel, but I'm not loving Tax's strategies against big mana. So we're going to see from Miles Noble Hierarch turn 1, turn 2 Giver of Runes Eldrazi Displacer.
Yep, is this a turn 2 win for Nick?
All right.
Because
Nick
it
is going
better
to get
be.
in with an unblockable mutagenic growth it up to 3. We getting there?
So you just need to make it a worm and then another pump spell and you're good.
Scale up. No. Uh-oh.
I, if
Uh,
if I'm Miles here, I kind of don't like having played the Giver of Ruins. I feel like it's important when you're playing against Infect to at least bluff having some
yeah,
interaction
Path of Exile.
because almost a lot of the time they have enough to go all in on a thing and win, but they don't because it you get so blown out if you go for
Right.
that last point of Infect to a removal spell.
So here's the thing about playing against Infect. And yes, if you needed a brief catch up on what happened there, Nick made a 6/4 unblockable with scale up and followed it up with a become immense for 10 points of Infect damage. Game over. The thing about playing against Infect is you do not want to hold that path and pass it back to their turn and try to catch all their pump spells because they have cards like Blossoming Defense, and if you have an open white mana, they're not going to go all in. So you see a Blighted Agent, they're tapped down, you're on your turn, you path then, uh, in order to avoid just dying.
Well, 100%.
But
I think it is also worth the bluff 4 miles to leave a white open in that situation, though, because the Giver of Ruins isn't really doing anything for you. Nick isn't killing your creatures, and if you untap with the Displacer, that's a pretty strong place to be in. So,
that's true. Vile Flicker Wisps, I'm unsurprised by your screen name that you play Taxes in Legacy. I Vibe Pizza, play Dredge in Legacy, and playing against Taxes, me and John You played when we first got into Legacy. We'd play a little bit, and we just played Dredge against Taxes about 3 times. We're like, well, we're never doing this again. This has been fun.
Yeah, that basically comes down to like the battle of the sideboards pretty much, and
Hmm.
it is very much a dice roll. Um, but I like seeing Infect here in Modern again. I feel like that used to be a big pillar of the format and a tier one deck for years and years and years, and it's kind of fallen off in the past couple years. And I think it's a deck where there are right and wrong ways to play against it, and if you're not used to playing against Infect, I feel like the Infect player can definitely really get you
Oh yeah.
when you maybe had the tools to interact, but you just chose to use them at the wrong time.
Hmm. Between Path to Exile, Fatal Push, even Thoughtseize, Engineered Explosives, there's a lot that can punish Infect right now. The Urza decks are able to engineer explosives quite quickly, and that can be difficult. Because Infect is pretty light on the threats. It's got Inkmoth and Blighted Agent and Glistener Elf, but that's it.
And Oko.
We didn't.
Uh,
We skipped sideboards real quick. We're just gonna go over what the options available are. Speaking of Oko, because
Hey, there was a
Nick here.
there's a brief window of time before Oko got printed where Infect was playing Teferi, the 3-drop one,
Yep.
in the board, sometimes in the main, but I guess now the better 3-mana planeswalker that's already in your colors is what you play in the sideboard.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot in Nick's sideboard that I super want here. 2 Okos Dismember, 3 Veil of Summer, 1 Spell Pierce, 1 Nature's Claim, 1 Force of Vigor, 1 Mystical Dispute, 1 Spellskite. Sorry, that's 2 Dismember, 2 Mystical Dispute, and 1 Dissenter's Deliverance.
Spellskite's decent, I
It's true.
think. I'm fine with the Spell Pierce and Dismembers too if you have kind of bad cards to board out.
All right, Miles here with a Thought Knot Seer.
Turn 2
On
Thought
to.
Knot? Yeah.
I hate to see it.
And that's
Oh,
kind of awkward with the 2 Blighted Agents, but I guess you take one and then deal with the other one.
he's got
Um,
an Explosives in hand. Also gonna see a Spellskite. Explosive's gonna take care of Spellskite and Blighted Agents pretty well. Though if Miles chooses to run out the explosives early, it's possible Nick can play around it.
I
See if
mean,
he can
Spellskite
lure
can
Miles.
attack.
No, no. I
uh,
mean, that's the thing. If you've ever lost to an Infect player that was like, well, screw it. Here's a Noble Hierarch and a bunch of pump spells. It happens. You have to be a little bit careful and remember you do have a life total.
yeah, now I feel like the 6-mana jumps are more common with Infect,
Hmm.
that we have Turn to Worm.
Indeed. Modern Horizons giving Infect a little boost. Miles has 2 Engineered Explosives in his board that he brought in. Not looking at a ton of other relevant things. 4 Veil, 2 Damping Sphere, 2 Stony Silence, 3 Leyline of Sanctity, and 2 Rest in Peace. So I think probably just the 2 Engineered Explosives there. Nick fetching up a land. Gonna start with a Spellskite.
I don't necessarily think it's a slam dunk, but Damping Sphere could be decent.
Eh,
Because a lot of times Infect has to play 2 or 3 spells. Oh boy.
okay.
We're just dismantling the
Second
hand
thought
here.
knots here. Very strong here. Gonna get in for 4. This is looking good for Miles. 2 Blighted Agents gone out of here. Nick gonna need another threat. Oh, found another one.
Well, Miles is probably feigning. Oh, we got a
Oh, there's a Path
path.
to Exile. We do not have enough to play and blow the Engineered Explosives. So if I'm Miles here, let's see, you can't successfully path the Blighted Agent. Ancient Stirrings
Well, maybe
picks up a
Nick has a chance
Brushland.
to go for 10.
He can do it this turn. If he can do it this turn, he's got it. Miles playing a land for turn.
You
He
know,
needs to play. No,
I kind
I
of would
would
have
not want
done.
to do that.
So usually I would say you want to path on your own turn against Infect, except in this specific situation when you can redirect it to Spellskite and that's going to give Nick an extra mana, you definitely want to do that in Nick's upkeep.
Yeah. Nick has access to more now. So we've got Thalia here. Thalia is good. It will limit the number of pump spells Nick can use here. Miles actually sitting here about to swing for 8. Decided not to swing for 8? Dubious.
I'm unsure.
Putting Nick to 2 seems strong. If you put Nick to 2, you turn off Spellskite. Even if it already ate the pass, so. Nick gonna drop to
This
8.
feels like a win
Yeah, I
here.
think Nick's got it. Maybe even through Thalia. He's acting like he's got it. Do we have the scale up? And then become immense? Let's get big. Barp. Got you again. Alright, well, that was that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that also is a good learning opportunity there too, with how like if I, it's Miles needed to play the path to then be able to play Thalia, because I don't think he could have played Thalia then path with one up. So maybe just it was a
Yeah.
interesting judgment call.
Yeah.
Looks like the Okos were brought in.
They were. Seems like it's a good card.
All right,
Uh,
well, we got a lot of time left. Maybe we should find another
yep.
matchup out
I'll
in the
hop out
wild.
there.
All right, we'll see you in just a moment.